Yeah, that narrative will keep markets guessing and judging and debating and deliberating. But frankly, from a setup standpoint, and I'm purely looking at the setup here, what is the setup? It's different for commodities, very different for crude, and distinctly different for equities. For equities, US equities, we'll talk about crude. For equities, it is one step forward, one step back, or half a step forward, half a step back. That's how equities are moving. I'm talking about global equities. Crude, I think, is this moving part. This kind of a decline in crude normally happens when the world is worried about growth. So is crude an early indicator of a massive slowdown coming in the second half of this year? Could it be more than a soft landing, which is what the current preamble in the financial market is? Or this is pure leverage trade, which in crude seems to be moving down? I don't see crude going down decisively. Why? Because ultimately it's about what OPEC does in terms of costs, what it does in terms of managing the supply, and how the equation between OPEC and non-OPEC producing nation would move. But crude going down in isolation is something which could be an early indicator of what the world is thinking in terms of where demand actually could move. So that's crude for you, and that is very important. Now, before I connect with Richard Harris, I just want to make one more point here. I'm just going through my notes in the morning, which is the flows. Foreign institutional investors, there were buyers yesterday, they've turned net buyers even on 9th of September, and now they are more buyers, they are buying more and they are selling less. SIP flows, record inflows. Domestic investors, they continue to back the market. So are we at that turn now for Indian markets where buyers are there and sellers are clearly missing? And if that is the turn we are at, then what it means for sectors and themes, we'll talk about it. But for me, if I have to really pick up one point here, I think, it's like, what they say in Hindi, Sone pe suhaga. Crude is down, FIs are back, DIs are there, SIP flows are there. What else you could have asked for? I mean, this is just a perfect scenario. Nobody wants to sell, excepting IPOs and promoters, nobody wants to sell. DIs, they continue to buy. Crude is down. Yeah. And FIs have turned net buyers. So, you can take a pick, why do you want to be bearish?
Valuations, the markets or sellers, if they have to, will always find a reason, I guess.
No, so, Aisha, ultimately markets just cannot keep on riding on liquidity.
Exactly.
I mean, gold cannot sell at the price of diamond. So wherever that disconnect has happened, those stocks have already started correcting, defense, railways, shipyard. So it's not that markets will go in a straight line. All I'm pointing out is that what is the new trend which we can pick up in last 15 days? I think one trend is crude is down, second trend is FIs are buying, and third trend is banks have started moving higher. So that is how I think the combination of the market movement seems to be moving.
Oh, yes, indeed. That is the overall mix in and all the ingredients that is spelling out a pretty decent recipe for us.